But one thing that's not getting canceled is Violent Night. That's right. Violent Night is coming back. Violent Night 2, everybody. This is something we just watched for the first time, finally, Violent Night. And it stars David Harbour. This man's not getting fired, that's for sure. He's coming back as Santa Claus. They're going to do a second one. They're going to have fun, more hijinks. When I first saw this, I didn't really know he was Santa Claus, which I thought was kind of crazy. I thought it was like somebody playing Santa Claus, but he's actually Santa Claus. And it's streaming on Peacock right now if you haven't seen it. But here's something that the director actually had to say moving forward for a Violent Night episode 2, or I should say sequel.
We have time to really crack the script and figure out the story. And we have some ideas, me, Pat, and Josh, and the producers. We've all been talking about where we want to take it and what we want to see. There is stuff we left on the floor, like the North Pole, Mrs. Claus, the elves. But story-wise, I think we have a really, really cool idea that expands on the world and scope, but still keeping that tone that we love from the first one.
Yeah, and that's the thing about this, too, when we were talking about the movie itself. You don't really see Mrs. Claus. He wears the wedding ring. He rubs it a few times. He takes it off, puts it on a bar, and you see just him being Santa Claus, just going through shit, not able to figure out what he wants to do anymore. If he wants to still be Santa Claus, Christmas spirit's down. And when I saw there was a sequel to this, I'm like, well, it's time to watch the OG one. So I went back. It just came out last month. If anybody hasn't seen it yet, you can see it on Peacock. Like I said, it's fun. It's violent. It's very violent. It's very campy and over the top. It wasn't what I expected it to be, but I still enjoyed it. David's great. Like, he's funny as Santa Claus, but he's also very fucking brutal with that hammer. Sabrina, you saw this. What was your reaction seeing David as Santa Claus? And do you think this was a good movie that warrants a sequel?
First of all, Rachel, you're absolutely right. Doom Patrol deserved better. Titans, not so much. I kind of agree with the cancellation on that. But as far as Violent Night, I mean, there were moments where I was like, are you kidding me? This is what you're doing. And then there were moments where I was laughing hysterically. Like, so it was very, I had a lot of conflicting emotions about it. David Harbour's amazing. He was great. Obviously he's amazing. And they kind of did like a little bit of like a nod to Home Alone and like a little bit of a nod to like Gladiator almost. Like, he is like super brutal with that hammer. Like, there were a lot of times, and I get it, it's called Violent Night, but it's still a Christmas movie with a kid in it. I was like this a lot of times. Wait, tell me when it's over. Like, it was really, really brutal. Like, that at the end, John Leguizamo goes up a chimney and literally his torso is the only thing left. And he just throws it to the ground. Like, it was super fucking gory. But overall, I liked it, and I would absolutely watch a second one.
Yeah, and like Sabrina was saying, the Home Alone aspect was a lot of fun. There's a little girl on it, and she's like, just watched Home Alone. But it's so brutal because it's like, what would actually happen? In Home Alone, it's very over the top, and these people are getting their head lit on fire and all that, but it's like not too bad, and they still get up and go. Well, this girl's just killing people. She's just literally killing people, rolling balls downstairs. She has like a nail in the step, and she does like the cutting one other step halfway, so it looks like it's stable, but it's not. And the guy steps on the step, and then he falls, and the nail goes through his jaw and comes right up. And then on top of that, a bowling ball comes through, and then he gets a spike through the eye eventually and dies. It's super, super brutal. But it's like, what would actually happen if a person was doing this kind of stuff to people in their house? Jake, have you seen the trailers for this, or have you seen this movie? And do you think something like this is like super brutal and putting Santa Claus into a box like this? Do you think there should be a sequel to this?
You're muted.
Oh, we can't hear you, Jake.
Come back.
Unmuted.
We're having problems tonight, everybody. It's okay.
It's okay. I don't know I don't think I have a problem with it, as long as the target audience is appropriate, right? Let's see. Super brutal Santa Claus is actually kind of cool because, I mean, Santa is pretty well fictional anyway. Like the whole Santa for Christmas, it's kind of what he stands for is, as long as you understand those boundaries, watching a film like this isn't that bad, I don't think. But I haven't watched it yet, so I think it makes it comical.
It does.
To have something that's supposed to be... What?
I was saying, like, there's a sequence, if you saw it, Jake, like he's in the sleigh flying away, and this girl's like, "Oh, he is real," and then he throws up on her because he's so drunk. He throws up on the lady, and he's like, "Merry Christmas."
Yeah, I mean that's real life. I'm sure that's happened in a mall somewhere before. So
Yeah.
yeah. But
Yeah, it's fun
I
because
don't know.
they had that Grinch movie that came out recently, and then the Winnie Pooh horror movie; those were coming out. So this was kind of in line with that, but you have a bigger star with David in this too. So I think it gives it more oomph, to actually be successful as a series. And
Yeah.
he's great in it, Jake. If you get a chance, if you don't have Peacock, you should try Peacock, even if it's a trial. They have that free 7-day trial, and check it out because it's fun. It's very over the top, but the brutality of it is real. It's like actually grounded what would happen.
Yeah.
It's kind of nuts. And he even uses his like songs as catchphrases. He's like, Santa Claus is coming to town.
The weird thing is they showed like a backstory for him where he was like some sort of a gladiator, like I don't what was he, Brian? Like I don't know, but he had on like a helmet with the metal
like medieval
nose
times. Yeah, it's like medieval times.
No shirt, like one of those gladiator skirt metal things going on, and he had a hammer and he was just kicking the shit out of everybody. But it was like a flashback. So in this version of Santa Claus, his backstory, or in a different life, or like in the beginning of his life before he became Santa Claus, he was this like medieval warrior, which I thought was interesting and very different, like a new idea. Obviously, the whole movie is a new idea because I've never seen Santa Claus kick the shit out of anybody before.
Right.
But that backstory thing I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, it's a great movie, GR too. As GR is in the comments, it's don't piss off Santa. But it's fun. It's getting a sequel, unlike some other things that are coming out. Like we're saying, Doom Patrol's going down, and it's really unfortunate that we're losing Doom Patrol. Honestly, when it comes down to Titans, I'm hit and miss with that. So it is what it is. But what do you think about David coming back for a Violent Night 2? Are you excited about it? Did you love the movie? Did you hate the movie? Let us know.